Welcome back to SAFC Live. Myself and Danny are pitch side following a 3-1 victory to Sunderland. At times they made their own problems, Sunderland, but they really could have been out of sight on a number of occasions, couldn't they, this afternoon? A good display in the end.
Yeah, it was. Weren't perhaps at our best, but if you're winning 3-1 in any game, it's not a bad thing, is it? I think we gave them opportunities. We said that in commentary there, where a little bit sloppy on the ball, weren't we? Decision making at times. Maybe overplaying a little bit in our own half and got caught on it a few times and led to their goal, really. But we look at threat going forward, and when it's an open game of football, you know, when you've got players like Jack Clark out on the pitch, you're going to have more than an opportunity or two, aren't you? And that was the case this afternoon. Let's
run through the highlights from the game then, and we can discuss some of the moments. And there was many moments. It was a strange old game in many senses as well, Danny, wasn't it? Because at times Sunderland were absolutely cruising, and then all of a sudden it got a bit nervy inside the stadium, didn't it?
Yeah, well, first 15 minutes or so, I thought it looks like, we're going to get a goal early, settle in. Could have been 2 or 3 early on, as we said. We obviously hit the post as well. And it looked like, Birmingham couldn't get into their stride, couldn't get going at all. And, you could just feel it in the ground. It felt like it was going to be a comfortable afternoon once we got that first goal. But that wasn't the case. We had to really graft for it in that second half and earn the right. And allowed Birmingham into the game, as we said. But you see moments like this in the game, really, where you're getting Patrick with a bit of space to work in, fizzes the ball across, just behind Jack, has to adjust his feet, sets it back for Niall, doesn't quite catch it clean, there's a man back on the line, puts it behind for the corner. So early on now you could see and you could feel it, really, where you're thinking this is going to be one of those days where we are going to be at it. We had one last week at Swansea where we could have been still playing now, and you just felt it wasn't going to be the day where the ball was going to go in, and that was the case last week at Swansea. Today, thankfully, early on we got that one, and we think, can we just settle down now? But it seemed to go the other way, where we allowed Birmingham in with sloppy passes. But Tony Mowbray will be delighted in there, saying after last week, where we felt like we let 2 points slip down at Swansea. We've managed to get three today and put ourselves in a decent position again in the table. And there's that one for Rooston now. It worked really hard again. I like what I've seen of him so far, almost as a lone striker at times. Backs into centre back, lads who are bigger than him, but he throws his weight around. He's a little sort of a fox in the box, a little pest type, really, and he just needs one to go in. That one there with his left foot was a good effort, but a few minutes later he plays his part in the opening goal, doesn't he? Just a little bit of movement in the 6-yard box, gets across his man at the near post, flicks it on, and there's Job. Doesn't have to do too much, 6 yards out, little side foot in against his old club.
Well, the thing about Job is he always gets in these great positions, isn't he? And he scored a couple of goals already this season. He's added to it this afternoon. Yeah. But it's great for him to get on the scoreline, and he almost did it again.
Yeah, that could have been his 4th of the season not long after, wasn't it? I think it maybe takes him a little bit by surprise. Defender makes a mess of it at the near post. Just pops up for him there, and then down into the ground. Doesn't catch it clean, but Ruddy's gone down. It's over the top of him, but from their point of view, they're happy to see it come off the post and back into the keeper's gloves.
Birmingham had their own chances as well.
Birmingham get forward. Now that's almost the carbon copy of the goal, really, in a way, isn't it? Where they get down the right and they cut it back. But we managed to scramble that one clear, so it was a little warning sign at that moment. But we're giving them something to go off. You see a little couple of mistakes just creeping into it here, and you could sense it in the crowd as well. And just a little bit, I don't know. Is it a little bit complacency maybe, where we think, well, this has been a decent performance so far. We've got ourselves a goal. We're almost in cruise control, and then here we go now. There's the goal. We've cut the first one out. Ball's fizzed across. Nobody tracks him, and he just sides foot in. Decent finish. He just opens his foot like Job's, really. Allows the pace on the ball to do the work. Just guides it into that far corner. No chance for Anthony Patterson. A little bit of finger pointing going on in the 6-yard box. See Sealt here now. Who's got him there?
Yeah.
Nobody's picked him up. And then they're back on level terms.
And I guess the coaches will do that during the week before Sunderland's next game at the weekend. But we can take lots of positives from the game this afternoon. Maybe we'll focus on some of the better things. And I guess also when you have to throw together a defence at last minute as well, Sunderland have done, on the whole, very well this afternoon, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Yeah, a lot of pressure on those two lads coming into the team, especially Triantis, really, probably thinking he's got his big coat on, about to take his place on the bench.
About a minute before the teams came out.
Yeah, and then all go, because you don't, I've been asked this before, you don't do the same warm-ups as the other lads. You see behind us, they're doing a possession.
You have to mentally prepare as well, surely.
You do, yeah, and naturally, oh, I'm not playing. Subs have a little gentle kick around more often than not over the far side, while the other lads are doing a little bit more on this near side behind us with the possession. Then all of a sudden Dennis has picked up a knock and he's out there, and it's difficult for him, 40,000 in here, pressure on him coming in. I know he's played a few games for the 23s. I don't think he's made an appearance so far for the first team. And then alongside him, you've got Sealt, who's only made that one appearance against Middlesbrough as well, I think. So it's, you know, for the two of them to go in there as a pairing as well, it's not as if they had Dan Ballard or Luke alongside them. So two young and experienced centre-backs in their first start to the club. Overall, they've done well. They did have a few nervy moments at times, but that's to be expected, I think. And then you've got Niall and Trey either side of them, who, you know, love to get up and down. Trey was putting a few tackles in as well, involved in this goal here, wasn't he?
We've given this to Nectar, but it probably comes.
Well,
off
I'm giving it to Dion Sanderson's left hand, to be honest. Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, Sky. I think Sky have given it since at first viewing. You weren't sure; it all happened quick. 2 or 3 bodies in there, but at the end of the day, we got ourselves in front, didn't we? And that's all that mattered. And we did have a little spell now where we were taking control of the game. And Dan's unlucky there. He's just tried to roll it through John Murray's legs, I think, and the big man gets down and smothers it quite well. But Birmingham still had a few chances in this second half. They made a few changes, top end of the pitch, Hogan coming on, Djukovic coming on as well. Both had an opportunity, didn't they? But there's the man there, Jack, involved, and we always say it about Jack, don't we? Sometimes things aren't happening for him in a game. Here, there, he leaves the ball behind, but recovers it, goes past his man Laird, fizzes it across. Defenders have perhaps got to do better in there.
Good positioning from Al-Shish as well.
Yeah, they say there, but defender, he's on the stretch possibly, isn't he? Doesn't get enough on it, and there's Al-Shish where you want your attacking players getting in amongst it, waiting for something to drop, and he does. He was only on the pitch a couple of minutes, wasn't he? And that's the difference, and you've got that little bit of a cushion then, you know, you're 3-1 up, and that's pretty much the game done. But having said that, there's Hogan off the bench, strike away. Anthony Patterson, who did make a couple of saves as well in the second half, didn't he? Here's one here now, down to his right hand side. I think that's Lucas Djukovic off, isn't it? Dembele rolling it into his path. So you see they've got some good options off the bench, Birmingham, in the top end of the pitch. Dembele at this level is a decent player to have coming off the bench.
And he looked tricky when he came on.
Hogan as well.
Exactly.
So, you know, and then, but I'm sure Birmingham, they will get it right if Wayne Rooney's given time. You know, that's 5 games now without a win, just a point to show for it as well. But they've got some good players, so I'm sure they'll get it right, Birmingham, at some stage. But Mayenda as well off the bench, I was impressed with him. Looks a big, powerful size, doesn't he? Made it difficult for Dion Sanderson. Gets his shot away there. I don't think Ruddy knows much about it. Comes off his left ear, doesn't it? Side of his face. And then Anthony Patterson, another save there, as we said there. Djukovic on the volley. Patterson getting across, deals with it to his left-hand side. And then I think we're going to see last one here now. We're working out to Mason Burstow off the bench, wasn't it? Chops back inside, look for that far corner, just past the post. So he's still waiting for his first goal. Rusin's still waiting for his first goal.
But they're getting closer.
The wait goes on for the strikers.
They're hitting the woodwork.
So Rusin hitting the woodwork again.
Okay, so just looking at the stats which just came through as well, Danny. Sunderland had 22 shots this afternoon, 6 of them on target. To Birmingham, 16 shots, but they had 7 on target. Possession shaded by Sunderland, 60% to 40% as well. It's a good win for Sunderland, and back here at the Stadium of Light, it's something else to build on, isn't it?
Well, it is, yeah, because the fans keep talking about the home form not being great, but the home form's better now. What would be today? I think we had 12 points before, so that's 15 points at home now, 11 away from home. I think obviously the early kick-off, we've gone up a few places, possibly 6th in the table.
Possibly see the league table
we'll see that in a minute. Yeah, but just at home you've got to make it a fortress, haven't you, really? And people keep saying about the form, and for me it's not so much the form, it's results. The form doesn't change for us. Home and away, we tend to play the same. You know, we get at teams, we try and control games and dictate play. Just usually here, teams come and sit back. And credit to Birmingham, I don't think they come and sat back. I thought they pressed us quite high.
They did.
They fancied the chances.
And the 3-1 down, they made changes to put strikers on.
Top end of the pitch. They obviously had to go for it to try and get back into the game. But it makes for a good game of football. I thought it was, from a neutral, people watching at home would have enjoyed watching that game.
Yeah, confirmation, Sunderland are 6th. I'm not sure if we have a graphic for the league table, but yeah, we do. Sunderland, without another ball being kicked elsewhere, are back into those playoff positions, and it's good reading, isn't it? Obviously, the teams immediately around us, still have to play it this afternoon, but they're back in the mix this afternoon. Yeah,
right, mix. And I expect us to be there or thereabouts end of the season, to be honest. I know there's still obviously a long way to go, but just obviously watching us, the games in recent weeks where we haven't picked up points, we're still in amongst it, we're having good opportunities. I feel like we're always in games. We haven't played a game so far this season where, you know, you can take the Middlesbrough game out of it, where that was a difficult one to gauge, really. We had the man sent off, didn't we? 45 minutes or so. You know, Dan Neil got sent off 45 minutes or so with 10 men. Just naive, I thought, that day, where we played a little bit too open. Other games we've always been in games, and the games we've lost, it's been by the odd goal, hasn't it? Apart from that Middlesbrough game. So I fancy us, when we're at it, like we were today. I felt today we weren't quite at our best. We discussed the man of the match after the game. I think Jack got it on Sky there, but we were saying, was anybody really at their peak? Perhaps not really. A lot of players had good moments in the game, and some were a little bit loose on the ball. But it's not a bad thing when you're winning 3-1 at home, is it?
Exactly, Danny. A lot of contact from the fans around the world on SAFC Live talking about Mayanda and Rusin. We still haven't found that goal-scoring striker, but certainly in Rusin we've got someone who looks like they're probably going to start next week. But Eliza Mayanda making a debut this afternoon looks very strong, and he got that great shot and smacked John Ruddy right on the side of the head. Yep. I don't think Ruddy knew much about it, but he looked good, didn't he? Yeah,
no, he did. Yeah, the time he was on the pitch there, it's his first outing for the club, isn't it? Obviously had his injury problems. Handful. There was one that a ball went up between himself and Dion Sanderson on the halfway line. He shrugged him off, rolled him. So he's a big, strong boy as well. He looks like he can run, and he looks like he's got a decent left foot on him as well. And Dion showed him onto his left there. Perhaps doesn't know much about him.
I don't think anyone does.
No, but he just moved it, didn't he, and put his foot through it. And as I say, it hit Ruddy. I wouldn't say it was a save as such. It's cannoned off the side of his head. So yeah, it looks like he's going to be a handful. So options there for Tony Mowbray now.
The good thing is the strikers are getting in good positions, they're getting shots on target, aren't they? They can't come closer than hitting the woodwork, and nearly scoring at the end Mayanda as well.
No, well, I think you said 22 shots there, 6 on target, so that's the only, not say a concern as such, but you want more of those working the goalkeeper a little bit more. 22 shots and only 6 on target. But yeah, we always get in good positions. There's very rarely a game where we create little, is there? When you've got the likes of Jack out on the pitch, you're always going to be in the game when a game's open. And with these lads coming into the team now, they'll have obviously been watching the games while they've not been involved, and they'll think, do you know what, I wouldn't mind being out there. And I think looking at Mayenda, I said there, speaking to Mike Dodds before the game, and he said in training he looks a handful. He's putting the ball away, good finishing, and he fancies playing as that number 9 striker. So good competition for that spot up top.
Okay then, I think that's pretty much it for us this afternoon. Sunderland are next in action on the 25th of November. Another break. Those international call-ups are going off to their respective countries to represent. Sunderland have came through this afternoon by 3-1 at home against Birmingham City. The next in action against Plymouth Argyle on the 25th of November. That one is away. It's as far away as you can get. And that's a 3 p.m. kickoff, so we'll be on air from 2:15 here on SAFC Live. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see you very soon.